You guys really liked the video I put out a couple days ago on JP Sears, the Awaken with JP guy. He used to make really funny videos. He was this long-haired, ironic, like post-ironic hippie, and he would do videos about drug experiences, experimentation, weird hippie concepts, and it was kind of ironic. It was very much taking the piss. And for that, even if I wasn't into that hippie woohoo stuff, I was able to find it funny and enjoyable. Then he went down the hard right path. He became a right-wing skit content creator, started a fitness channel on the side, and just fully embraced the right-wing aesthetic. Completely 180 on all that stuff, but still supports some of that like alt medicine stuff that he was in favor of back then as well. So you liked that video. I figured we should cover someone kind of similar. Why not? This guy, his name is Russel Brand. I have a feeling many of you might not even know about him anymore. He's not really relevant these days, and in large part that's due to the fact that he got accused of... What do you think he got accused of? And the evidence for it was pretty ironclad, to say the least. He did not manage to beat the allegations. Most people in his own audience seemed to recognize that the allegations were true. Wasn't it, SA? Yeah, yes it was. So this guy is in a lot of ways a lot like Awaken with JP. He's got that old school hippie kind of vibe, I guess. I don't know, he's a weird looking dude, but he's also energetic, and for some reason, he's huge on Facebook. He was huge on YouTube, too. And when I say, like, he's fallen off, you might see this viewership and be like, what do you mean he fell off? Well, look at his sub count, for starters, and then look at the viewership. And if we sort by popular, you'll see nothing, because YouTube won't load it. If we sort by popular, you'll see, there we go. 4 years ago, 2 years ago, 6 years ago, 3 years ago, all the way back to 11 years ago, this guy was pulling millions of views. A lot of these videos will be pretty recent too. As we scroll down, the ones that pull like around the 1 to 2 million range, which he's gotten like thousands of videos that pull that viewership. He used to be huge. Like, you can scroll for a while before you're gonna stop seeing millions here, guys. Like, you're gonna be scrolling for a long time before we get out of the millions range. Like, this dude has made some really influential content. And so when I say that his shit is cooked now, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating in the slightest. This man has been well and truly cooked. He did not beat the allegations. He's cooked. He's cooked. So I figured we ought to check out what he's been up to these days, post fully being disgraced. See how he's handling things, what kind of content he's making. So I thought we'd check out this video. 25,000 views 2 days ago. What king? So I guess this is him criticizing the No Kings protests. You know, come to think of it, he's starting to look like a not ginger Asmongold. Because, like, Asmongold's a ginger, though for some reason no one points that out, oddly enough. But this guy is not a ginger. So we've got not ginger Asmongold here. Let's see what he's got to say.
I'm gonna tear up the crown.
No kings! Why no kings? Because kings are corrupt, you can't get rid of them, and they make too much money exploiting people like Nancy Pelosi. Put that plastic crown back together, Nance.
So, I'm very, very curious why Russel Brand would act as though there is not a deliberate desire to make Trump king, when, I mean, for the last year, the running motto of the right has been Trump 2028. Like, the whole point of rejecting infinite terms as president initially was that it was akin to being a king. That's where the no king statement comes from. Trump is openly saying he wants to run in 2028, breaking the term limit rule, which is an explicit act against the very policy that was motivated by keeping America from ever having a king. Trump is trying to become America's first king. It's a problem. No kings.
Hello there, you awakening wonders.
He's so cringe. What is this, like, open robe with, like, his chest out and the cross out? Like, no wonder this guy is dying out. What the hell, dude? Like, what is this branding? You're an old man now. You realize that, like, you have wrinkles and you look like a cancer patient with hair. Like, you can't do the whole, like, you're not looking sexy right now, bro. You look like a creepy, grody old man. And it's making me believe the allegations against you even more. Is your dick out? I think his dick is out. There's no way his dick is not out beneath that robe, right? Like, he does not have pants on, and he's just sitting there, like, cock out, cock and balls just out, sitting at his desk, talking about politics. 100%. There's no way his dick's not out. By the way, if you end up enjoying this video, consider leaving a like, subscribe, comment. It helps a lot. Let me know, as well, with the likes and the comments, if you want to see me cover more of this guy's stuff, if you end up enjoying.
Thanks for joining me today for Russel Brand Unpacked. We all saw the No Kings protest. Well, I didn't actually. I like to spend my time contemplating infinite wonder and the light of the Lord. But I know it took place, and
like when you did that essay, were you contemplating the light of the Lord then? I have a feeling that God and Jesus, especially Jesus, would not be big on that.
also, remember, I'm British, so when I hear Americans say no kings, what I think Americans mean is we don't want unelected and remote officials that are in charge of us, that tax us, that don't care about us. Now, obviously, the No Kings protest is all about Trump's apparent unassailable power and the fact that he's behaving like a monarch rather than a president, presumably. That's the basis for it. But do Nancy Pelosi and Cory Booker and all them ultimately just mean we want our king in place? Because if they were genuinely in...
Are you not denying that Trump is acting like a deity right now? Like, or not deity, a royalty right now? Like he's trying to achieve unilateral power with no ability to oust him or push back against whatever he wants to do on a whim? Now he's just saying, well, the left just wants to do it too. That's his response. Like, these are people protesting in the street. And his response is, well, they just want a king for their side. No, that's just you guys. You're the ones who say you don't like authoritarianism and fascism, and then immediately support it when it's somebody who's doing it but is on your side. The left has principles. You don't. Fundamentally, as a conservative, you lack principles. That's how you got to where you are. You cannot claim that you hold any. You opted out of that when you chose to become a conservative figure.
Interested in ending hypocrisy, corruption, and privilege-oriented power structures, they would relinquish their own power. I'm talking more about Nancy Pelosi here than Cory Booker. You will be well aware that Nancy Pelosi has accrued a $114 million fortune during her time in Congress. If she were a monarch, she'd be one of the longest reigning monarchs in history.
So you know what's really funny about this? I'm a stock guy. I day trade. I do. And I do like to read a lot of like the business section of the Daily News because it gives a decent amount of insight in where you want to put your money. Right now, biotech is looking really, really, really promising as an investment. Not giving investment advice, but check CNN Business and you tell me I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure the #1 gainer on the stock market today, I would bet, is a biotech company. Do you want to check, actually? Let's check. I'm just really curious. Who's the top gainer on the market today? Fucking hell. I'll just check CNN Business. Alright, let's see who's the top gainer on the market today. Markets. Gainers. Billion to 1 Inc. Class A. Okay, I don't think that's a biotech company. Oh, there we go. Amy Health Technology Company. It is #3. So I wasn't right about it being the #1, but a biotech company is #3. I'm pretty sure this is a biotech company too. I'm pretty sure this might be. But yeah. Biotech is the 3rd biggest gainer of the day. A new biotech company. Like, I don't know why, but that shit is just fucking popping off in the market. I think it has to do with some, like, gene therapy related breakthroughs that have been happening lately. My point is, a lot of people talk about Nancy Pelosi like she's this massive, like, market manipulator, inside trader. Like, how could anybody get wealthy off of investing the way that Nancy Pelosi has? Here's how. The amount you make off of the stock market is not entirely controlled by how smart your investments are. Making smart investments alone is not enough to make you millions or even hundreds of millions off of the stock market. You have to be able to put a lot down. If you only have a few tens of thousands of dollars to put into the stock market, it's going to take you a while, even when you're only making winning trades, where you're even, multiplying your money in some cases. It's going to take you a while to get into an area where you're like actually a wealthy person in the same way that Nancy Pelosi is. Nancy Pelosi got so wealthy because she was already wealthy. She came from a family with a decent amount of money. So when she invests, and she invests with the help of experts, she puts down some pretty decent money. She's been investing for a long time because she's older, so she's probably been in some ETFs for a long time. And ETFs, like especially in the last few decades, have been like getting 12 to 13% yearly percentage gains. So if she put $100,000 into like Spider ETF, a decade ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, yeah, she's going to be making a lot of fucking money. And once you've got a lot of money, it becomes infinitely easier to become super wealthy off the stock market. You can put $1 million into an ETF and make 13% back the next year. Spider, in the last year, has seen a 13% return. Spider ETF. That is pretty significant if you're willing to put down something as serious as like $1 million, 10 million. That's how you make some serious goddamn money. So, yeah, Nancy Pelosi is far from the biggest earner off of the market in the House. Far from it. She, like, within our federal government, I forget who it is. I think it's Don Jr. is the biggest insider trader, because we know that one anonymous person is probably Don Jr., who made, like, trillions or something. Not trillions, but billions off of crypto recently by shorting the market. Yeah. I don't know. Nancy Pelosi is not this, like, super giga-wealthy, like, inside trader person that you think she is. People who actually follow like the trading of people within our government. There are AIs and programs that allow you to copy Nancy Pelosi's trades as well as many others, but you can also see who's actually making the most money, and the people who do copy politicians to make profit do not copy Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi's investment gains are very reasonable, extremely reasonable, and within normal margins. There are plenty of Republicans and Democrats, though, that make several times the amount she does. Nancy Pelosi just gets so much attention from people like Russel Brand because she is, and the right as a whole, because she was, up until recently, the Speaker of the House. So she was just a very prominent Democrat to focus on. She just knew how to invest and had a lot of money to put in the market. It's really that simple. She probably has a lot of money in ETFs as well. Also, her husband is like one of the best traders in modern American history, too. Good point.
So, does no kings include no queens? Let's get into it.
They're not representative of this country. And I looked at all the brand new signs paid for, I guess it was paid for by Soros and other radical left lunatics. It looks like it was. We're checking it out. The demonstrations were very small, very ineffective, and the people were whacked out. When you look at those people, those are not representative of the people of our country.
Are they representative of your country? Let me know in the comments and chat. Here are Cory Booker and Adam Schiff doing, as Democrats so frequently do, a crap chant. We're no kings, democracy. I've been hiding up in a tree. What's that tree? Is it an apple tree? Like the one... Oh, no, this chant.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks
Woo!
like.
Yeah. And this is one block in one city. This looks like one of the smaller No Kings protests, too, and I wouldn't put it past Russel Brand to specifically pick out the least crowded No Kings protests to point out. But yeah, I mean, like, dude, there are No Kings protests happening in other countries. The UK and Canada have protests that are backing up the protests here in the US. The idea that this is some, like, non-thing, like it's not getting big, it's not pulling people over is crazy. Unbelievable to try and imply that.
Do you think that just before they made that video, the crowd were chanting, this is what democracy looks like? And they thought, look, if we go up there, we can quickly get a moment, right? This is what democracy looks like. Crickets, crickets, crickets.
I can see why post-essay allegations people were not willing to look past them and keep watching his stuff. He's so old and cringe and creepy. Like, he has, like, nothing of value to say. He's just making fun of people, and it's just not the kind of politics that's popular, like, not the kind of rhetoric that's popular in the right wing right now.
This is what a little white guy looks like. In a way, it shows you that systems of legislation and government require more than a catchy chant. Although a catchy chant is a good place to start, so at least get that right.
I'm not a king. I work my ass off to make our country great. That's all it is. I'm not a king at all.
When I look at this protest, what I feel is that the Democrats...
It must be true. Trump said so.
Still haven't learned the fundamental lesson of the Trump era. People wanted change.
I like how this video, being 2 days old, has already aged so poorly. Because he's doing the whole, like, right-wing victory lap bit, but right now, like, 2 days later, like, the right has just taken a massive L in the election. The right is at each other's throats right now. Big MAGA civil war. Everything's falling apart. The money and the influence aren't getting along together anymore. I don't know. I think it's really funny to see a conservative talking this big game days before the right's big implosion that we're now seeing. He and other comedians his age group were considered funny from the late 1980s to the early 2000s. Yeah, Russel Brand used to be quite famous. He's as washed up could be now, though.
They wanted hope. They wanted a restoration to an America, whether real or imagined, that they feel connected to. An America that respected them and...
Also, this guy's British. There's only for so long will Americans listen to a non-American tell them they need to support someone like Trump as they struggle to exist and survive while he's a millionaire who's either not living in America or if he is, he's unaffected by it because he's so rich. Either way, it comes off as disconnected that he's not even American. He's advocating for a candidate who's now won and his policies are hurting them. Meanwhile, this guy's just continuing to support it because by their estimation, he's unaffected by it. He's not even American. He's got a British accent.
Cared for them. The Democrat Party abandoned ordinary...
It's really hard to sell people on the idea that you're American first when you've got a British accent. Yeah, like when the America First stuff starts taking over the right, of course they aren't going to stick around with people like Russell Brand. Bro doesn't sound American.
People a long time ago. One might argue that Congress is a de facto monarchy where long-serving political...
What? Congress is a de facto monarchy? That is not at all what it is. This is the closest to direct democracy we have in our federal government. What? Do you even understand our political system, you fucking moron? Do you even understand how districts work? Do you even understand how holding your seat in Congress works? What do you mean if anybody's spending a long time in Congress, it's because they keep getting reelected because they're popular in their district. Mind you, congressmen and congresswomen are they have to directly answer to their voters. Districts are very small and have small populations, and the issues they face and the communities are tight-knit within those districts. So you have to keep them happy. You have to actually care about the people in your district. It's not like a whole country where you can just focus on the most populated parts of it. Your district is a little slice of a state. And you got to those people have to vote you into office repetitively for you to keep your seat, which means you have to continually serve their interests. That is not monarchy. If you win your race for Congress in your district and you spend your term sucking and not doing anything for your people, they're going to vote you out. In what world is that monarchy?
Figures accrue wealth and privilege while not really doing enough to serve the people they were elected to represent. If you needed an image to undergird the hypocrisy and futility of these protests, here's Nancy Pelosi tearing up a plastic crown.
We're gonna tear up the crown.
You already showed this, bro.
No more Burger King. McDonald's from now on. Why is she tearing up a plastic crown that looks like it's been given with a kid's meal at Burger King, really only to tell you that she would prefer a Happy Meal? The fact that there is no
Damn, bro, you got the whole squad laughing.
Real alternative to hegemony is precisely why in America there is a kind of turgid politics where alternatively one side feels validated and elevated and the other diminished, and then essentially those roles swap over periods of decades and decades until presumably the entire country collapses under its own weight. Surely it's time for us to consider real, radical, systemic change. Not necessarily radical, actually, because I'm not thinking that there should be...
So is he just completely fried now? Is this why, is no one watching this shit anymore because he's just completely cooked? What happened to this dude? Let me sort the comments by newest. Lol, you just sound like Trump now. No matter what kind of BS Trump does, it's the Democrats, is the only thing you can say. You used to be cool, Russell. Well, it would appear there is definitely a direction where his audience is leaning on these things these days. I'm gonna speed up this video a little bit because, he doesn't really make any points, you know? There's like one every 2 minutes, so we gotta hurry.
Revolutions and blood in the streets. What I actually think there should be is sovereignty at the level of the individual and integrity in relationships and the maximum ability to run your own community. That's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments and chat. If you want to read our...
Well, we just read one of the comments. It seems like even his own fan base, the ones that aren't put off by the fact that he failed to beat the SA allegations, are just bothered by the fact that he's just a Trump sycophant now. Like, when your viewers are suffering under Trump's policies, you are shielded from them in all ways because of your wealth and maybe not even being in America. You can't keep on shilling pro-Trump, pro-Trump, pro-Trump to these people, even as they suffer. Like, you may not even buy into the fact that they're suffering, but they are. That's reality. God, he looks so, like, sickly and like, what is going on with him these days? Like, what's happened to this guy? Is he, like, dying?
Content on Substack, click the link in the description. In recent weeks, prominent Democrat lawmakers have taken to the streets under the banner of the No Kings rallies, protests designed to denounce Donald Trump's supposed authoritarian ambitions and defend American democracy from the threat of an imperial presidency. The symbolism is unmissable. Plastic crowns snapped in half, chants of "this is what democracy looks like," and stern warnings against the return of monarchical power. This is what democracy looks like. This is what embarrassment looks like. For a while, they were calling him Hitler. That doesn't work. People seem to... compared to us, actually quite like Hitler, Stalin, Mao dictators. What if we say he's like a king? Because that'll...
What? He's like having a like schizophrenic ramble on camera right now. Like, I'm so confused.
Remind them of the Revolutionary War of Independence. Yeah, that'll work.
No way am I wearing a freaking wire.
Would you be willing to wear a hidden camera and microphone?
Oh, that I'll wear.
I won't wear a crown, though.
He's completely lost it. There's not even any entertainment value here, because I don't even know if the average conservative viewer could even reach the same level of crazy he's on.
But behind the slogans and staged gestures lies a deep irony. For many of the very people protesting against political kings, the mirror reflects a different truth, one of entrenched power, vast personal wealth, and a political system that increasingly resembles the aristocracy it claims to oppose. Well, let's look at some of the facts. How long do they stay in Congress? How many of them are rich? So Nancy Pelosi, one of the leaders of the No Kings movement, were she a monarch, would be the seventh longest...
Leaders of the No Kings movement. The No Kings movement is not a movement with leaders. It's a political movement that is born out of a collective dissatisfaction with Donald Trump. I know you don't want to acknowledge that dissatisfaction for Donald Trump is a thing that can exist, but it's all over the place right now. Oh, let me tell you, it's everywhere.
Reigning living monarch. That was pointed out by someone on X. And also, the majority of lawmakers in Congress are millionaires. So what is the legitimacy for the claim that the...
Why do you think the majority of lawmakers in Congress would be millionaires? In a system where individuals, any person within a district could just spend the money to start a campaign and start getting their name out there, buying ads and trying to get on the ballot, why do you think typically it's millionaires that end up doing this? Take, for instance, Brandon Herrera, the gun YouTuber who's now making 2 runs for Congress, his second run for Congress. Why do you think he happens to be the guy in his district who is probably, like, you know, more likely to win than others. He's a huge YouTuber and has a ton of money. Even though a district is a small place, you still have to have a decent amount of money, be able to run ads, campaign, all of that. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not a cheap thing to do. People can't just create the money to like, run for office. You have to have generational wealth, or you have to have become a business owner in some way where you've made a lot of money and can invest that into a campaign. That's why they tend to be wealthy. And when they get into Congress, if they were wealthy enough to run an election campaign and to get elected, then there's a good chance they're going to have enough while in office to actually invest safely, smartly, and with a decent amount of money put down, and that's going to make them a lot more money.
Democrats are against this type of hegemony.
Also, let me tell you, the amount of time our Congress people are sitting in a big open room with absolutely nothing to do, and it's just waiting for everybody to show up and everybody to, like, finish gathering their paperwork and stuff. All there is to do is sit on your phone. And if you're not day trading, why wouldn't you be day trading while you wait for, like, the hour-and-a-half long assembly to gather? You know, it makes sense.
Let me know in the comments and chat, because I can't see it. One of the most striking images from these rallies is of Nancy Pelosi, an 85-year-old congresswoman who has served in office for nearly 4 decades, theatrically snapping a toy crown in two. The message was clear.
He's still on this toy crown snapping in half thing.
Donald Trump is not a king. Yet Pelosi herself embodies the kind of political royalty America's founders sought to escape. Over a long career, she's accumulated an estimated $114 million of personal wealth, much of it tied to the same markets and industries over...
I'm really curious. Which number is more? 400 billion or 114 million? I'm really curious. Which is more? Because, for those unaware, Elon Musk has $400 billion, and he is directly supporting, well, did support Trump's campaign, was this, like, oligarchical backer of it, is now, still does, have his hand in the cookie jar of government. So, my question is, how is that concerning? 114 million concerning, but 400 billion is not? The world's richest man having his hand in the pocket of the president, up the president's ass, using him like a puppet, that's not concerning? I love how they like to talk this game about how, like, oh, this Democrat is wealthy, isn't that scary? And it's like, you guys have the world's richest person entrenched in government. This, like, you want to talk this game? You want to talk about money? Y'all are the ones with the corrupt amounts of money, the kingly amounts of money. 114 million is nothing to even a billion, much less 400 billion.
Which Congress exerts enormous influence. Her 10-year longevity and influence in Washington have made her less a representative of the people, more a fixture of power, a queen in all but name. Nancy Pelosi has famously accrued her wealth, presumably from information gleaned within Congress, although it's probably illegal to say that, so maybe not that. But since she's been in Congress, she has made, like, over...
No, she did not accrue. She comes from generational wealth, and she's invested. Insider trading is a crime, by the way. Like, obviously, you're accusing her of committing a crime, but why would she be making so much less money than several other Republicans? Why are we not... Funnily enough, he's talking about this in the aftermath of somebody at the White House shorting crypto and making, like, the most money anyone's ever made off of crypto in a single day. And they had to have known, like, that Trump was going to announce his tariff policy because they timed it perfectly with the tariff policy. Like, they started taking shorts out on the crypto, and then the moment that Trump was about to announce the tariff, he stopped, and then he announced it, the crypto crashed, and then he bought all of his shares and like paid off his shorts, and he ended up making a shitload, like billions, off of this. For those that don't know what shorting something is, you basically borrow a bit of something while it's worth a lot, ideally, and then you sell it right away for liquid, for income, for actual USD, and then you sign an agreement that you're going to give back the equivalent amount of crypto or shares at a later date. And the reason why you'd ever do this is because you think that this crypto or this stock is going to die hard in the coming days. and before you have to return the equal shares that you bought or that you borrowed and sold, that they're going to die in value, and you're going to end up being able to buy those shares back for practically nothing and then return them and make a shitload of profit. And that's what he did. He borrowed billions worth of this crypto, then immediately sold it. Now, if this crypto went up in value at all, he would be in immense amounts of debt. Like, if it went up in value at all, he would be fucked. So he knew this is an extremely risky thing to do. You can have infinite losses when you do this. It can bankrupt you for life. And what he ended up doing was predicting perfectly, stopping his shorting right at the last second, and then the crypto died because of something that no one could have seen Trump doing coming, by the way. No way could have this been predicted realistically. And this guy made billions off of it. Because he didn't have to return the value of the crypto he borrowed until after it crashed.
$100 million. And she does sit on committees that regulate companies that her and her husband Paul Pelosi have stocks and shares in. I'm sure those things are coincidences. When people say no kings, they mean no corruption. They mean no one is safe.
Hey, remember when a crazy Trump supporter tried to murder Nancy and Paul Pelosi in their home, and you folks tried to claim that it was a angry gay lover? You guys are still trying to shit on Paul Pelosi?
Power. They mean they want democracy. They mean they want the ability to disrupt, interrupt, interface with the people that are charged with governing them. It's not the actual
He's talking about someone who is an attempted murder victim, and the attempted murderer was someone who aligns with this guy's political values.
crown. The crown is a superficial symbol of inaccessible power. And in a way, Nancy Pelosi is wearing, at very least, a tiara.
So, no. When we're talking about no kings, I like how we're like, when people talk about no kings, they mean Trump having money. No. No, the Supreme Court ruling he can never be found guilty of a crime while in office is, I think, a much more relevant point. The fact that Trump is mobilizing the National Guard and military against American cities, good example.
Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her husband have participated in at least 8 IPOs. One of those came in 2008 from Visa, just as a troublesome piece of legislation that would have hurt credit card companies began making its way through the House. Undisturbed by a potential conflict of interest, the Pelosi's purchased 5,000 shares of Visa at the initial price of $44. 2 days later, it was trading at $64. The credit card legislation never made it to the floor of the House. Congresswoman Pelosi also declined our request.
Mind you, Nancy Pelosi had no power over it not making it to the floor of the House. Like, that wasn't even her decision, but she definitely would have had influence over it. Like, there's no doubt that if she has some kind of inkling that it might be smart to invest in this way, she probably did do that, and that would be insider trading. But the idea that she's this, like, insider trading god, like, I always hear people say, man, I should set up an AI to just copy Nancy Pelosi's trades. It's like, Nancy Pelosi is not the person you want to be copying. Like, she's probably done some insider trading. She's definitely done some. I would bet my nut she's done some insider trading. But she's not making the big bucks like you think. Like, she's making, like, 10% gains year by year, 20% gains year by year. That sounds like a lot, but you gotta put millions and millions down for that to multiply into, like, any kind of serious profit.
For an interview, but agreed to call on us if we attended her news conference.
Like a queen, Mike.
I'm not doing your interview, but if you attend, I may call upon you. I may dab at you with my scepter.
Did you know that most of the methylene blue that you're using ain't even fit to clean out a fish tank?
That is the most amazing segue I've ever seen. Did you know the methylene blue you've been using isn't even fit to clean your fish tank? Let's find out about the special methylene blue, the fish tank cleaner that Russel Brand sells. In his fully unbuttoned cheetah print, his fully unbuttoned leopard print, robe, his unbuttoned leopard print silk robe.
Maybe you see your own consciousness as a kind of aquarium that you're living in and looking out of. Nevertheless, you don't want to be cleaning your own mind with methylene blue that even a guppy might reject. That's why we turn to Peter McCulloch and the TWC, that's the wellness company, for a better class of methylene blue. Watch out for low-quality bottles that are untested for heavy metals and made overseas. You can trust the wellness company. Recharge, a doctor-formulated supplement combining powdered methylene blue with NAD+ and PQQ. This methylene blue is USP grade, ensuring top-tier purity for maximum safety and effectiveness. This is
Okay, so supplements are legally regulated industry. So what do you think what do you think USP grade is? It's not a policy or anything like that. You want that means literally nothing. USP grade in the US grade is supplements indicates our product has been verified by US Pharmacopoeia or USP to meet stringent quality standards. This means some supplement contains listed ingredients in fair amounts. Does not have levels of contaminants or break down and release in the body as intended. US verified by certified by supplement on this rigorous testing and evaluation. This is obviously not. My mic is on 1 second. Okay. Are we good now? How is it now? Good now? Good. Okay. Yeah, I know exactly what causes that problem. Like, once a week, all of a sudden my audio just goes like robot. Just goes full robot. And I gotta unplug my Scarlet Right 2i2 power, like audio power thing, and plug it right back in, and it fixes everything. Instantaneously fixed. That's it. It's like once a week. It's weird, but completely manageable. So, sorry about that. Thanks for telling me. Anyway, yeah, the USP grade thing at least does seem to be something of, you know, take it as you will. It's not the USDA. It's not the FDA. Supplements are, by the government, unregulated, and it's very hard to sue a supplement company for anything they could have done to you, because they can argue in court that you could have eaten, consumed, or taken any number of things. They don't sell medicine, they sell supplements, so how could an overdose or a bad bit of, you know, for all they know, you ate some bad fish, right? You ate some bad fish, how could they know? So usually supplement companies never get held to account for any negative consequences of what they create. They are that unregulated and that unmanaged. I do not recommend that you ever take one of these weird, like, right-wing supplements. It's not a good idea. Yeah, don't put that shit in your body. I can't endorse it. I just can't. But that said, if you ended up enjoying this segment, if you found it enjoyable, educational, or entertaining, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know what to do. And follow my social medias, linked down below as well. But don't forget to join my fan Discord especially. That is the main hub of my fan base and community. And on top of that, it's just the #1 place to be. Everyone hangs out there. I host events and stuff there, so I hope to see you around again. That said, thanks for watching.